7 people. 1 photo. Look at every single face here and think about what happened next. Rob Lowe, Demi Moore, Emilio Estevez, Ali Sheedy, Judd Nelson, Mare Winningham, Andrew McCarthy. 7 completely different decades. Nobody standing here in 1985 could have predicted a single one of those stories. 2 kids on a TV lot in the early 80s who both went on to build real careers. What I find remarkable about this then and now photo is the friendship. 40 years later, still showing up for each other. That's rarer in this business than any award. Robin Williams in 1989. That laugh is completely real. Then he was gone, and it still doesn't feel real. Just look at that laugh. Jamie Lee Curtis at home in Santa Monica with her dog and sunglasses. No performance, no camera face, just a woman on a Saturday. That's the whole picture. 2 of the most intense actors of their generation, both 20 years old, both figuring out what kind of careers they wanted. Cage had just changed his name from Coppola to avoid the nepotism conversation. Penn was already Penn. In my opinion, this film is the most underrated of everything either of them made in the 80s. Nobody talks about it. 11 years old, sitting at a counter on Melrose eating a burger and a milkshake. Nobody in that diner had any idea what was coming. Neither did she. This is one of those photos that stops you. Diane Lane was 20 at the time, already a veteran by Hollywood standards. John Bon Jovi was in the middle of becoming one of the biggest names in music. The story goes they were briefly together. I've heard different versions of what happened. None of them fully add up. Birdie is the film people skip when they talk about Cage's early career. That's a mistake. This performance is the one I keep coming back to. Nobody expected this film to matter. Gus Van Sant was an unknown director. Matt Dillon had spent the decade in teen movies, and nobody took him seriously as a dramatic actor. Then this came out. The critics didn't know what to do with it. The audiences who found it never forgot it. 2 teenagers who were already working professionals in 1988. Applegate had been on Married with Children for a year. Perry was doing everything he could to get noticed. This TV movie was one of those quiet stepping stones that never gets mentioned once the bigger story kicks in. Perry died in 2023. He was 54. Gene Wilder wrote, directed, and starred in this film. The song that came with it, I Just Called to Say I Love You, won the Oscar. Wilder always said the song got more attention than the movie. He wasn't wrong. This is Michelle Pfeiffer's first film. First one. She was 22, brand new, and nobody on that set had any idea they were looking at one of the most gifted screen actresses of the next 4 decades. In my opinion, Pfeiffer never got the recognition she deserved from the industry. The audience always knew. The awards voters took a long time to catch up. Pretty Woman came out the same year as this photo. Julia Roberts went from this premiere to being the biggest female star on the planet in about 6 months. That almost never happens that fast. Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid met on this film, fell in love, got married. That marriage lasted 12 years. Martin Short has been friends with both of them ever since. She won the Oscar for The Accidental Tourist, the same year this was taken. What strikes me about Geena Davis in this period is how completely she owned every room she walked into. Then she was gone, not from the industry, but from the conversation. That always seemed wrong to me. 3 years before My Cousin Vinny. 3 years before an Oscar that half of Hollywood refused to believe she deserved. She deserved it. This is one of my favorite then and now photos from this whole era because of what it actually shows. Three Amigos came out in 1986 and got mixed reviews. Nothing about that original photo suggested these three would still be showing up for each other 40 years later. Chevy Chase went through a very public rough stretch. Steve Martin reinvented himself 3 or 4 times. Martin Short just kept working, kept being brilliant, and never seemed to need anyone's approval to keep going. That's the career I respect most in this entire set. They were already together when they made this. A couple playing a couple. The chemistry is real because it was real. The film got decent reviews and decent numbers and then kind of disappeared. What didn't disappear is them. Still together. Still the same two people from this promo shot nearly 40 years later. I saved this one for last on purpose. Look at this photo. No premiere. No red carpet. No publicity. Just two people laughing together somewhere in 1989. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell have been together since 1983. Never married, never needed to be. In an industry that treats relationships as content and marriages as press releases, they just quietly stayed. That's the rarest thing in any of these 19 photos. What do you remember most from this set? Tell me in the comments.